As we kind of looked at the possibility of an assessment, what I really hoped and had in mind was that it would get the various departments of the association talking to one another and starting to think in the same direction, to really to understand the common ground and common difficulties that they were sharing, and to collaboratively say, let's work together to build something new. Because the accounting department doesn't like to build new things, and the membership department is kind of set in their ways, and that's just the way it goes across organizations. But when everybody gets in the room and says, this isn't working for me, well, it's really not working for me either. Okay, well then let's collaborate to come up with something better. There was actually one really, really comical moment during our technology assessment where we were tracking the way that a check or an invoice is processed through the office, and we picked up a piece of paper and said, this is an invoice that we need to get paid. And we had various departments there, maybe events and accounting, and we walked that piece of paper around, and I think there were like 13 touches among our staff by the time it was over with. And then you just kind of looked at everybody and said, does that work for everybody? And it was the first time everyone came together to say, this stinks, together. Our board was incredibly supportive. I think the biggest thing for us is it had been really a long time since we had made significant investments in technology other than kind of one-off. So the hardest thing for us was, what's the first step to recovery is admitting you have a problem, admitting we had a problem to our board, and having them kind of accept that there truly was an issue, because we were doing a lot of things right. We were just doing them very inefficiently. And so we had to make the case that that perhaps our staffing levels were out of whack, because we were necessitating more individuals to get the processes done, because the systems themselves weren't enabling efficiency.
Once the firm was selected, they sent us a whole big questionnaire to fill out, answering a bunch of questions. But then they did one-on-one interviews with our staff, and then we had 2 days, full staff. And at the time, everybody was like, really? 2 days? We all have to sit together and worth a consultant? It was a wonderful 2 days, because the questions they asked were simple questions for the most part, but the answers were what was amazing. For example, kind of what was said earlier is that someone would say, well, now, this is how I put the information in on each member in the database. And someone would say, well, that's not the way I do it. And you'd find that you had 5 different ways of doing it. So the processes were broken. We didn't have the right processes. So, that's just the way we got started. It was well spent time, and that's where we started.
We've talked a lot about staff and just getting everybody on the same page, and our organization was very siloed, and no one was encouraged. In fact, they were discouraged from working together. And I think when we brought everybody in a room and for the first time really asked their opinion on what we should do, what they wanted to do, what would be awesome if they could pull, in their dream world, what they could do. I think that just broke down some barriers, and it's created a culture change in our organization that's solidified now that we're all in this together. And I really think that was 2 days together. All it took was 2 days, but to really just to say, hey, I care about you, and I care about that you're frustrated, and I want to help you like your job better, and to be able to serve our members better without that frustration. And so I think really at the end of those 2 days, that was really, to this day, our assessment was almost a year ago, and still to this day, it's like, remember that conversation that we had, and that, when those people were here and they asked us all those questions, whatever happened with that? Or, hey, I had another idea with that. And I spend a lot of time listening to people now, and so they're talking to each other, and that's just really, it's really cool.
What it all uncovered for me is that every employee has a strategic side if you can uncover it. and you can give them the opportunity to start thinking outside of the rote day-to-day activities that require them, enable them to do their job. And so I guess I wish I'd maybe been a little bit more prepared for how much it would open people up, because now I've got a lot of very strategic thinking employees who also really want to have their ideas implemented yesterday. And so people have new ideas all the time, and I like Michelle's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. I feel like I'm constantly reminding people, like, we're in stage 2 right now, and that's maybe a stage 6 type thing.
Well, there were so many aha moments, and I think one of them was the fact that we outsourced our IT work. We still do, but we were constantly having problems. The computers were breaking down, software, things just weren't working. And so through this process, this roadmap was given to us on things we could do to upgrade our database, move things to cloud storage, move to Office 365, do some different things with our servers. So there were so many things that we were able to have identified. Do these things, and you probably won't be breaking down as much. And that's absolutely, that was the rainbow at the end of the path, is that we've had no problems at all since that time. And it used to be a monthly problem. Email's not working, such and such isn't working. And because of all these changes that were outlined in the strategic assessment, those were all taken care of, and things are really, really good. Having written processes that everyone follows, we found, for example, that when we had a staff turnover, they had not been putting anything in the database. Everything was kept on spreadsheets. And so now everybody follows the same protocols. We have everything written down in processes, and the staff efficiency is so much better.
I know we're all busy. I know we all have a lot of things going on, but get back to the essential question are you busy because of the volume of work, or are you busy because of the inefficiencies that exist in your processes internally?